We're moving on now to the economic relations between India and Britain. I can tell you that many members of the Indian diaspora have played a very important role in that, perhaps none more so than Lord Karan Bilimoria, the founder and the chairperson of Cobra Beer, one of the best known people out here. We got a chance to catch up with him and we asked him, how are the economic ties between India and Britain proceeding? This is what he said to us in this special interview. Well, one thing is very clear in the relationship between India and Britain. It's a role being played by the Indian diaspora out here, and many of them have risen to positions of great power and certainly become captains of British industry as well. Nobody symbolizes that better than Lord Karan Bilimoria, who's joining us, President and Chairman of Cobra Beer. You were the President as well as the British Chamber of Commerce. You're the Chancellor of the University of Birmingham. Lots and lots of titles, Lord Bilimoria. Such a pleasure to have you with us. Tell us, first of all, your overall sense of how Indo-British business relations are going now.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to talk about UK-India relations because I see my whole life as being Indo-British, in that I was born and brought up in India, in Hyderabad. I came to study in the UK as a 19-year-old. And from that time, I've always felt equally at home in both countries. And one of my objectives, right from the very beginning, even when I set up my business, Cobra Beer, was to put the UK and India together. Yeah. And beyond my business, as my business grew and I got involved in public life, 20 years ago, I was appointed as the UK chairman of the Indo-British Partnership by the UK government to promote UK-India trade, business and investment both ways. And my counterpart was Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys. And then later on, I founded the UK-India Business Council, and then later on became president of the Confederation of British Industry, the equivalent of the CII in India, for 2 years until June 2022. The relationship between our countries has always been what I call a special relationship. In the UK, we have a special relationship with the United States of America. That's a fact. The United States is the biggest trading partner of the UK as a single country, almost 25% of our trade, and that's a fact. The European Union as a bloc is our biggest trading partner with, to this day, 45% of our trade. But India is a country with a 400-year relationship with the UK, which has always been very special. And yet, India is only the 12th largest trading partner of the United Kingdom. So we could be and we should be doing much, much more in trade, business, investment of what is today India, the fastest growing major economy in the world, and soon to be one of the 3 superpowers in the world.
And I think looking ahead, you summed it up really well, but if you look ahead, India has just overtaken Britain as one of the largest economies in the world. It's overtaken Britain there. But at the rate at which India is growing and compounding, it's going to be twice as large in a few years, could be 5 times as larger than all the other members of the Commonwealth at a certain period. So is there that sense in Britain as well that this could become, and this should become, one of our defining relations and defining partnerships?
Without any doubt, if we look at it today, India overtook the UK to become the 5th largest economy in the world. We're the 6th largest economy in the world here in the UK. It is forecast within 25 years, India will have a GDP of $32 trillion and will be the 3rd largest economy in the world and will be one of the world's 3 superpowers along with the United States and China. That, I think, is going to happen, and I think it will happen probably quicker than 25 years. The UK sees India as a very, very close partner, to the extent that we have published in 2021 what we've called an integrated review. And an integrated review is our review of our defense and our security and our development altogether globally. And in it, we specifically refer to a tilt to the Indo-Pacific. We no longer refer to the Asia-Pacific. We actually specifically say Indo-Pacific. That's how important India is. So what we need to do now, we've got a free trade agreement that is being negotiated as we speak, that has gone through 8 different stages so far, that is making good progress. Even before the free trade agreement, 2 things that I've been fighting for since I became the UK chair of the Indo-British Partnership and then founded the UK-India Business Council in 2007, is foreign lawyers to be able to practice in India. That's been announced even before the free trade agreement has been agreed. I've been asking for a long time for foreign universities to be open campuses in India. And in the past government, Palam Raju, the education minister at the time in 2014, announced that it was going to happen it didn't happen. There was a change of government. We've persisted in saying, please allow foreign universities to open up. In India, I was Chancellor of what is now the University of West London for 5 years. I was the youngest university chancellor in the country here in the UK. From that time, going back to 2005, I've been asking for it. It's now been announced with the new education policy. Foreign universities can now open up in India. The University of Birmingham...
But are they doing it? Are they going to be doing it?
Already, an Australian university has announced that they're going to open up in Gift City. Their British universities are interested. Birmingham University is a top 100 university in the QS rankings in the world.
When you come to the FTA, though, we've been hearing talk about the FTA for a long, long time. Is it coming, and is it coming anytime soon?
Absolutely. Since leaving the European Union, Britain has had the ability to negotiate our own free trade deal. Otherwise, it all had to be via the European Union. So the first thing we did, we rolled over 66 free trade agreements that the EU had with other countries, such as Canada, and we rolled those over, so we now have those as bilateral trade agreements. Then we started negotiating new ones. First was Australia, which I played a major role in when I was president of the CBI, and then after that, New Zealand, similarly, very comprehensive deals. The third one is India, and this is going to be a major deal for the United Kingdom. This is going to have the impact of making it much easier to do business between our two countries, much easier to invest between our countries, and I would hope easier to travel between our countries as well, including youth mobility.
But do you still expect that FTA to come? I'm sorry to press you on that, because people have been trying to figure out, when is it going to happen? It's been announced forever, it's been negotiated forever, then there'll be questions about immigration, there'll be questions about can Indians, will you open up to services and all of that. Do you think it will happen in our lifetime? If
I look back to the Australian deal, which was done, a very comprehensive deal very quickly, it took 1 year to negotiate it. Yeah. And then when we thought it was all done, it took another 6 months for other issues that came up, for finally going from completing the negotiations to actually signing the agreement. So it took 1.5 years. Yeah. Now the Indian deal, the negotiations started January 2022. We're now coming up to that 1.5 year period when, if it's the same as the Australian, we'll be signing that deal this summer. It's to do with all our business relationship, and it's to do with innovation, it's to do with small and medium-sized companies, it's to do with data, it's to do with IP. Yeah. Lots of different areas have to be covered in a free trade deal, and including the movement of people.
Right. Last question. The sort of a role that you have played in bridging the two countries, and certainly the role that you have played in the British economy. How do you see Indians' position in the diaspora? Because that's obviously a major asset that India feels it's got in this country, 1.8 million people of Indian origin. Do you feel that the diaspora is playing an increasingly important role in the British economy?
There's no question about it. The Indian diaspora here, the figure used to be 1.5 million. You've said 1.8 million. The figure I have is 1.7 million. Whatever it is.
It's somewhere there.
That we are the largest minority community in the UK, and we are, I would say, very proudly the most successful minority community in the UK. We contribute many times our percentage of the population to the economy of the country, to the culture of the country, in every field. And the best example is Indians are reaching the very top.
Right. Lord Bilimoria, such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, and let's hope those ties continue to expand at an exponential pace. I'm sure it'll happen.
I think we're just scratching the surface when it comes to UK-India trade, business, investment. It is going to rocket in the future. Well, Lord Karan Bilimoria has, of course, been driving those ties for a long period of time. Somebody who's been playing a far greater role in the very recent past is Manoj Ladwa, who's put up the India Global Forum and is trying to get Indian investment interest in Britain and vice versa. He told us about some of the plans and what role the diaspora can actually play in all this.